So my name is Em, and a British South Asian. I've also got mental health issues, so I have depression and anxiety as well. And I have my husband as well has a borderline personality disorder and um, a little dabble of depression and anxiety as well. So I'd say we cover a few bases together. Um, yeah, I've been suffering with it for about 7 years now, so quite a while. And yeah, I'd say I'm at a stage at the moment where I'm pretty stable in my mental health, and I'm quite happy with that. And I'm at an area where I don't want to rock the boat too much in terms of my meds or anything like that, because I feel, which is weird to say, quite happy where I am at the minute. Uh, Most for me, um, I suppose the instigating incident for my mental health issues was my family, and so it's an aspect that I think about quite a lot. Because I've not had any contact with them for I think it's 8 years actually, due to personal reasons. And yeah, it's quite strange not having that um, familial network. It's an odd sensation, really, because whilst others have someone or a unit to fall back on, it feels like sometimes that I don't have that biological unit. But obviously, I'm very fortunate to say I've got uh, a friend unit as well as my in-laws, and it's something that I think about quite a lot because it's something that really appears in my day-to-day life. As much as I try not to think about it, it's um, something that's quite a main focus, really. Um, Mindset, it's a way of thinking, a way of being. It's um, for me, it's where I have to go into my Rolodex of personalities, really, and try and think of what will be best suited for this situation. And so, if I'm at work, I've got to have my bubbly, optimistic mindset ready to deal with people. And it's just sort of uh, a sort of piece of armor, really, that you put up, and um, you choose which mindset is right for which situation. Um, I'd say my baseline is um, oh, it sounds really stupid, not whimsical, but I try to at least show some optimism in my day to day sort of mindset. Um, I try and smile through it all, but not in a sickly sweet way, because I think that's just irritating, really. um, and I'd say I've got quite a, I suppose, optimistic, but with sprinkles of pessimistic mindset. I'd say it's had quite a few like peaks and troughs. Overall, it's been a challenge, but I suppose it has been for everyone. I suppose in some sense, nobody's unique in that way. Everybody comes across as hard times in some shape or form. But I suppose it's changed for the better. I suppose I've tried to always look on the brighter side of things and try to realize how fortunate I am compared to others and how much potential my life has got. And so I try to stick to that as much as possible, although 9 times out of 10 it fails. But it's still something that I try. I really try not to, because it's a saying that I kind of try and stick to is comparison is the thief of joy. And so I try not to compare and contrast myself to other people, although that is so much easier said than done. But overall, I think as a society, it's quite a British thing to be quite pessimistic, quite sarcastic, and generally a bit of a dampener on themselves. But I try not to focus too much on other people's mindsets and what might be going through their day-to-day lives. Oh God. I suppose value, it's an idea, a judgment call that we as individuals hold ourselves accountable to, as well as a society we hold ourselves accountable to. It will be a judgment call, such as to be kind, to be sincere, quite personal and sometimes subjective. Response, I suppose, to ourselves and others around us. I suppose to, although it's quite cheesy, to treat others how I'd want to be treated. To really realize that life isn't fair, and so really to roll with the punches, and it's okay not to be okay. Integrity, really, someone's ability to hold themselves accountable to their own actions, to remain true to their own values as well, is something that I really appreciate, and I would love to be able to be described as that. I also value empathy as well. As well as, I suppose, happiness in people, however they may show it, because everybody's different and everybody is unique in their own way. And so it's something that I really value in others. Wastefully. I'm very guilty of being self-indulgent in doing nothing. which is something that I really detest about myself, but I am an absolute master at procrastination as well. And so I've been trying to spend my time more wisely by forcing myself to really stick to some sort of timetable that I create for myself every day and some sort of routine. It's something that I've not mastered, but over this lockdown's been quite a blessing to actually force myself to commit to. But otherwise I'm quite a boring person and I don't really do too much fun activities when spending my time. I'm quite happy being with myself and my own thoughts, which again I'm quite fortunate in terms of this lockdown, because emotionally this lockdown's been quite enjoyable for the introvert in myself. Um, I I suppose on a superficial front, money, um, materialistic endeavors, it looks, perceptions, and the so-called ability of a self-made man, as well as business accoutrements, I'd say, which is the pessimistic side of me, is what says society values. What I'd hope society values is integrity, is socialism, people looking out for each other, looking out for others' welfare, making sure that you're fighting for others who have less than you. But that's the optimistic side for myself. Well, in this society, I suppose nothing is ever enough. There's no such thing as making too much money. It's why we have such large corporations who will take and take and take till there's nothing left and able to move on. And I think that's actually a value that is revered or admired in our society as well. To constantly be driven towards fulfilling some sort of hole, may that be in your pocket or an addiction of some sort, may that be food, drugs, drink. I think as a society we've become quite numb, and so enough is never enough, and it's an illness really that has permeated throughout our society, and I think very few people are happy with quote unquote little, and especially in a technologically advancing world where we can share and edit our own lives to show our sort of highlight reel. Enough never is enough. And I know that's quite pessimistic and quite downtrodden, but I don't think there is ever an end. That's kind of something that I'm trying to figure out at the moment. It's I don't know, in all honesty. I still haven't decided what that means for me personally. Obviously, from a medical point of view, means being sound of mind, healthy weight, a healthy body. But personally, I have no idea. And it's something that I'd like to be able to pinpoint and really define on a personal level. But I think that's really individual. What my idea of health and well-being is may be completely different to another person. And it's still something, like I said, I need to define for myself by my own personal standards, rather than as well as in terms of a medical profession's advice of healthy weight, body, and sound of mind. Oh, I don't. Yeah, I don't. I'd say I am not good at that at all. I used to smoke to fill a void, and I stopped that. Fortunately, I never drank to fill a void, but I do eat to fill a void, and I'm trying to put a stop to that at the moment. I also used to shop to fill that sort of emptiness, in the idea of it was a healthy coping mechanism, but it's not, and it's also something to be worked on, and something that people don't really focus on at the moment, a sort of quote unquote shopping addiction. I've tried recently, like I mentioned, about creating a routine to hold myself accountable to myself, to try and really reteach myself healthy habits or healthy coping mechanisms, and trying at the moment to be as physically as fit as possible, because one goal that I have is to reach my 30th birthday without hating the way I look or feel about myself, which I think is a large task, but I'm willing to try and work on that. And so I'm trying at the moment to eat healthier, to work out more, to meditate every day, and journal my thoughts in the morning. It does feel like it is working, I suppose, but it is what it is, and I'm trying, but who knows how it goes in the end. It means someone who has integrity, who somewhat defiant, somebody who is willing to go against the norm, and who is confident in who they are and what they are trying to achieve. May that be bad or good, but that's someone who I imagine who can be described as who has strength and resilience, and two terms I'd love for others to describe me as, but I wouldn't say I'm there yet. No fucking idea. Not a freaking clue. I suppose I am religious, but in the just sound like a bit of a cop out, but in the spiritual sense, if that makes sense, I am a Sikh, and although I'm not a true practicing committed, I'd say, Sikh, I still believe in Waheguru, which is what Sikhs refer to as God, but not in the sense of a man in a cloud in the sky whose will has decided everything. In Sikhism, there is no definition of what God is. It could be just a cloud of energy in the galaxy, or it could be a mouse in the sky choosing things. Who knows? But my idea and version of God is, I suppose, something that I use to gain my strength. It's something that I find comforting. But I suppose looking at others and what others have been through and how they've been able to come out on the other side is also where I gain some strength. To know that others have the will and the strength and mentality and power to go through such darkness and walk the other side is also where I gain some strength. When I cut contact with my family, that was when I needed the most strength. It was a difficult time. It's gotten easier, and I truly believe time heals all wounds, because I feel maybe not numbness, but I feel okay talking about it. I feel quite open. There are pangs of pain, but it is nothing compared to what it had been. But that was the darkest time for me, that I really needed to be strong. And when I wasn't, I was very fortunate to have my husband, who was at the time my boyfriend, fiance, by my side, who really was my strength when I couldn't be strong for myself. He was there by my side for me, cheering me on no matter what decision I made, and being my support unit. Yeah, they are connected. I'd say it has a mainly positive spin on dissecting a person's core belief system, how they see themselves, how they see others. I'd say it's really connected. I'm trying to think of the correct terms. It's a person's mentality is how everything is connected, and what makes them unique and tick. But I also think that we shouldn't forget our darkest parts, our regrets, our parts we dislike about ourselves the most, because they are what makes us who we are and makes us individual and justifies the positive mindsets that we hope to have and hope to achieve. And I think we should also try and find the good from our weaknesses. In terms of my community of friends, yes, I see a lot of strength. I see a lot of resilience. I see a varied amount of struggles people have overcome and have come out on the better side. In terms of my societal community, I'm not sure. I see not strength. I see fear. I see a lot of uncertainty, a lot of self-medication, may that be in any form. But in terms of my close-knit community of friends, I see a lot of strength and resilience. I suppose, in an odd way, appreciate your darkness, because that darkness makes about 90% of you, because what you've been through makes you who you are on the other side, and makes you appreciate everything you have in your life currently 1,000 times more if you were fortunate not to have gone through that. And anything that's happened in the past has happened. Don't hold on to that hot coal of anger, because all you're doing is just burning yourself, and everybody else around you is just wondering why you just won't let go. And I think that's the best piece of advice, really. Just let it go and walk away onto better things, really.